Picture a world where fire wasn't just a tool for cooking or keeping warm. It was the key to a technological revolution that would change humanity forever. Now, imagine our earliest ancestors discovering that when they heated certain rocks, these stones transformed into something extraordinary, a brilliant malleable metal we know as copper. This is how, more than 10,000 years ago, humankind took its first steps toward mastering metals and forever altered the course of history. Copper was the first metal ever used by humans, marking the dawn of the Metal Age. This discovery wasn't just another technological advancement. It was a complete revolution that enabled the creation of more efficient tools, more powerful weapons, and more sophisticated works of art. The mastery of copper opened doors that would lead to the rise of the first great civilizations. But how exactly did our ancestors unlock the secrets of this remarkable metal? What sparked this revolutionary discovery? And what impact did it have on the first human societies? These are the fascinating questions we'll explore today. Did you know that in ancient times, copper was so valuable that it was used as currency? In some societies, it was even more precious than gold. This gleaming red metal became the foundation of trade, wealth, and power across the ancient world. From the sun-baked lands of the Middle East to the rugged Balkans, the story of copper is intertwined with the story of civilization itself. It's a tale of innovation, persistence, and the remarkable human ability to transform the natural world. If you're passionate about history and want to uncover the mysteries of the great empires like this video, subscribe to the Dawn of Humankind channel and don't miss a single episode of our journey through time. Join us as we explore how this brilliant metal sparked a revolution that echoes through the ages to this very day. The story of bronze begins with a simple yet profound observation. Our ancestors, always curious about the world around them, noticed something remarkable. Certain stones, when heated in fire, would melt and transform into metal. These weren't ordinary stones. They were copper ores, gleaming with hints of green and blue. But pure copper had its limitations. While beautiful and easy to shape, it was too soft and fragile for many practical uses. The real breakthrough came through experimentation, perhaps by accident, when ancient metalworkers discovered that mixing copper with another metal, tin, created something extraordinary: bronze. This new metal was harder, stronger, and more durable than anything they had ever seen before. This discovery, made around 5,000 years ago, wasn't just about creating a stronger metal. It was one of humanity's first great technological innovations, marking the beginning of deliberate metallurgy. Imagine the excitement of those early craftsmen when they first saw this new golden brown metal emerging from their furnaces. The impact was immense. Bronze tools could cut deeper, bronze weapons could strike harder, and bronze ornaments lasted longer than their copper counterparts. This new metal became so important that it gave its name to an entire age of human history, the Bronze Age. Here's something fascinating. In many ancient cultures, bronze was believed to possess magical properties. The ancient Greeks placed bronze statues at their temple entrances, believing they could ward off evil spirits. In ancient China, bronze vessels were considered sacred objects, used in important religious ceremonies and buried with powerful rulers. Some bronze bells from this era still ring with the same clear tone today as they did thousands of years ago. The knowledge of bronze making was so valuable that it was kept as a closely guarded secret, passed down from master to apprentice through generations. Cities that controlled the bronze trade became wealthy and powerful, establishing some of the first trade networks that would connect distant civilizations. These ancient metal workers were the pioneers of chemistry, though they didn't know it at the time. Through trial and error, they discovered the perfect ratio. Roughly 90% copper to 10% tin would create the strongest bronze. This knowledge, gained through countless hours of experimentation, would lay the foundation for all future metalworking. The journey from earth to bronze was a remarkable testament to human ingenuity and determination. Ancient miners, armed with nothing more than stone tools and fire, would venture deep into the earth in search of copper and tin ores. These early prospectors learned to recognize the telltale green and blue streaks of copper in rock faces and the dark, heavy stones that contained tin. Mining was dangerous, backbreaking work. Using stone hammers and picks, miners would dig deep shafts into hillsides, sometimes reaching depths of several hundred feet. They would light their way with small oil lamps, working in cramped, dark conditions that we can hardly imagine today. In ancient mines found in places like modern-day Austria and Wales, archaeologists have discovered thousands of these ancient tools, silent witnesses to this tremendous human effort. But extracting the ore was just the beginning. The real magic happened in the smelting process. Ancient metalworkers built furnaces from clay and stone, using bellows made from animal skins to force air into the fire, pushing temperatures to an astounding 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. At these temperatures, the metals would separate from the rock and flow like water. The molten metal would then be carefully poured into molds made from clay or stone. These molds were often works of art in themselves, carved with intricate patterns to create everything from simple tools to elaborate ceremonial weapons and delicate jewelry. The most skilled craftsmen could create molds so detailed that the final bronze pieces would emerge with decorative patterns that still amaze us today. What's fascinating is that these ancient metalworkers achieved all this without any understanding of modern chemistry or physics. They learned their craft through generations of trial and error, passing their knowledge from master to apprentice. Each workshop had its secrets, its special techniques for achieving the perfect bronze. In many ancient settlements, archaeologists have found entire districts dedicated to metalworking, with dozens of furnaces operating side by side. The air would have been filled with the sound of hammering, the roar of furnaces, and the calls of workers coordinating their efforts. It was hot, demanding work, but it transformed society, creating new classes of skilled artisans and traders who would help build the first great civilizations. These ancient foundries were truly the Silicon Valleys of their day, centers of innovation where new technologies were developed and refined, pushing the boundaries of what humans could create with the materials nature provided. Bronze wasn't just a metal, it was the currency of power that shaped entire civilizations. From the fertile valleys of Mesopotamia to the banks of the Nile, and across the Aegean Sea, bronze became the foundation upon which great empires were built. The Sumerians, masters of bronze working, created weapons that helped them dominate the ancient world. Their bronze-tipped spears and razor-sharp swords gave their armies an enormous advantage in battle. In Egypt, pharaohs wielded bronze weapons as symbols of their divine authority, while their craftsmen created stunning bronze sculptures that captured the eternal spirit of their gods. The Mycenaeans, those legendary warriors of ancient Greece, became renowned for their magnificent bronze armor. Their helmets, shields, and breastplates, decorated with intricate designs, struck fear into their enemies and inspired the epic tales of Homer. Some of these masterpieces were so well crafted that they still gleam in museums today, 3,000 years after they were forged. But bronze's impact went far beyond the battlefield. Bronze plows could cut deeper into the earth than their stone predecessors, revolutionizing agriculture and allowing cities to feed larger populations. Bronze chisels and hammers made it possible to cut and shape stone with unprecedented precision, leading to the construction of magnificent temples and palaces that would define ancient architecture. In the workshops of ancient cities, artisans created bronze mirrors so finely polished they seemed magical to those who had never seen their own reflection. They crafted delicate jewelry that adorned the necks and wrists of kings and queens, and ceremonial vessels that played crucial roles in religious rituals. The need for copper and tin to make bronze created the first international trade networks. Imagine caravans crossing vast deserts, ships braving stormy seas, all to transport these precious materials. Cities that controlled these trade routes grew wealthy and powerful, becoming the centers of civilization we read about in history books. Did you know that some cultures believed bronze had the power to speak with the gods? The Chinese created enormous bronze bells and cauldrons for their temples, believing the metal's resonant tone could carry their prayers to heaven. Many of these ancient bronze artifacts still exist today, silent witnesses to humanity's first great technological revolution. What do you think was the most remarkable invention of the Bronze Age? Was it the weapons that built empires, the tools that fed cities, or the art that still captures our imagination? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this journey through ancient history, be sure to like this video and subscribe to The Dawn of Humankind for more fascinating stories from our past. Every great era must come to an end, and the Bronze Age met its twilight in one of history's most dramatic turning points. Around 1200 years before Christ, a perfect storm of catastrophes brought mighty civilizations to their knees. Imagine a world where everything that seemed permanent suddenly began to crumble. Great palaces that had stood for centuries were burned to the ground. Wealthy trading cities fell silent. The elaborate trade networks that had connected distant lands, carrying tin and copper across seas and deserts, suddenly unraveled like a cut thread. What caused this collapse? The truth is as complex as it is fascinating. Mysterious groups known as the Sea Peoples raided coastlines, burning cities and disrupting trade routes. Earthquakes shook the Mediterranean, destroying harbors and palaces. Severe droughts led to failed harvests and famine. The carefully balanced system of bronze production began to fall apart as tin, essential for making bronze, became increasingly scarce. But perhaps most significantly, a new metal was emerging from the shadows: iron. Unlike the rare copper and tin needed for bronze, iron ore was abundant, found in mountains and hills across the ancient world. Though iron was harder to work with initially, requiring much hotter temperatures to smelt, it proved to be stronger than bronze and, crucially, more democratic. Any community with access to iron ore could potentially forge their own tools and weapons, breaking the monopoly of the bronze-working elites. The collapse wasn't just about metals and trade. It marked the end of an entire way of life. Magnificent cities like Mycenae in Greece, which had stood as beacons of civilization for centuries, were abandoned. The sophisticated writing systems used to record palace inventories were forgotten. It would take centuries for some regions to recover their former glory. Yet from these ashes, new societies emerged. The Age of Iron gave rise to different kinds of civilizations, ones less dependent on centralized palaces and international trade. The Greeks entered their Dark Age, but would eventually emerge to create their famous city-states. The Phoenicians took to the seas, establishing new trade routes and spreading their alphabet across the Mediterranean. In a twist of historical irony, bronze didn't disappear entirely. While iron took over for tools and weapons, bronze remained precious for art and religious objects. Some of the most beautiful bronze statues we have today were actually created during the Iron Age, when bronze had become a metal of luxury rather than necessity. The collapse of the Bronze Age teaches us a powerful lesson about how quickly things can change. Even the mightiest civilizations can fall when the complex systems they rely on begin to fail. Yet humanity's remarkable ability to adapt and innovate ensured that this end marked not just a collapse, but also a transformation, the birth of a new age that would shape the world we know today. The story of bronze is much more than a tale of metal and fire. It's a testament to human ingenuity and our remarkable ability to transform the world around us. When our ancestors first mixed copper and tin, they didn't just create a new metal, they sparked a revolution that would reshape human civilization. Think about it. From the gleaming spires of ancient temples to the swords of legendary warriors, From the tools that built cities to the art that still captivates us today, bronze changed everything it touched. It created new forms of wealth, new social classes, and new ways of connecting distant lands through trade. It gave rise to some of the most magnificent civilizations the world has ever known. But perhaps the most powerful lesson from the Bronze Age is how technological innovation can completely transform society. Today, we're living through our own technological revolution. Just as bronze once connected the ancient world through trade routes, the internet now connects us through digital highways. Just as bronze created new forms of wealth and power, digital technology is reshaping our economies and social structures. Are we living in a new kind of Bronze Age? Our silicon chips might be the bronze of our time, precious materials that power our civilization. And just like the ancient bronze workers who jealously guarded their secrets, today's tech companies protect their algorithms and innovations. The Bronze Age teaches us that every technological revolution brings both opportunities and challenges. It reminds us that the tools we create can lift us to new heights, or contribute to our downfall when we fail to use them wisely. What new ages of human achievement lie ahead? What materials and technologies will future generations use to reshape their world? Perhaps thousands of years from now, they'll look back at our era with the same fascination we feel when studying the Bronze Age. If you've enjoyed this journey through one of humanity's most remarkable achievements, please hit that like button and share this video with others who love exploring the mysteries of our past. Subscribe to The Dawn of Humankind for more fascinating stories about the technological revolutions that shaped human civilization. From the first copper tools to the rise and fall of mighty empires, we're here to uncover the incredible story of human innovation. Don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. What do you think is the modern equivalent of bronze in our society? What current technology do you believe will reshape our world as dramatically as bronze did for our ancestors? Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. Until our next adventure into the past, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep discovering. See you in our next video.